Boom, boom, boom.
Right, so today we are going to do a video on how to buy a car properly. So, you've got certain things that you need to do when buying a car. One, you need to know what car you want to be buying. That suits you and your personal needs and wants for a car. When you've found what type of car you want, you then need really to just research the car, see what the common problems are, see what engine variant you want, if you want petrol, diesel, and basically just have a look what, like I say, the common problems of the car are. And there's loads of information out there that tells you all these things on individual cars, like car owners groups and forums, and so just go through them and just have a look what's up with the car. They'll also tell you, because each car's got its own problem. So I'm going to be using my Mini and my Mercedes, that thing, to demonstrate this video. I already know what the problems with both of them are. The Mini's got a lot, but each car's got its own faults and things to know and look out for when buying them. I'm not going to cover every single car in the UK/Europe/world because there's so many. But just when you're buying a car, you need to buy the right one that's been treated well, and this video is just going to be showing you how to do that. So the first thing to do when buying a car is, like I said before, find out exactly what car you want, or cars you want, and just research them. Just find out what the common problems are with them and what to look out for when buying them, and the maintenance schedule. Make sure the car has been kept up with its maintenance schedule. I'm not really one to be bothered with dealer receipts and stamps and all that kind of stuff, because I have never in my God knows how long doing this known a dealer be better maintained than a specialist garage or even a private garage. Same thing, in a lot of cases a dealer isn't as good. But make sure the car has been upkept with its servicing schedule, because each car with each different engine and all that kind of stuff, they have different schedules. So it's not just like, oh, it's a belt timing engine, it needs to be done at 100,000 mile or whatever. They've all got their own little differences and needs. So just research all that and get to know what you're buying. So the next thing to do is, when you've found a specific car of the specific car you want to buy, if it's a couple of them, just get the reg. Make sure you can get the reg, because if a dealer's trying to hide the reg from you, if it's not on the pictures, message the dealer, ask for the registration. Just do a background check. My company, Tech Transport, we offer this service. You can pay a sum of money, £25 for the bottom thing, and we'll get a full history check. That'll check if the car has been stolen, crashed, imported, exported, any kind of history on it, if it's still got finance on it or anything like that, and I'll even give you a printout of the full MOT, so what advisory it's been done, anything that's happened to the car in its past, because you never know, all cars have a hidden past. So make sure you get a full background check, and make sure it's not on finance still, because we're getting a lot of that recently. And if the car is on finance, make sure that the outstanding finance on it is less than what you are going to be buying it for, and the seller will then legally have to show you proof within 48 hours, I think it is, of paying off the finance. And you need all the information. You need to inform, you need to get as much information as possible. Like, say if it's financed via Black Horse, let's say, you need to get all the information about that as possible. It is a bit sketchy, but a lot of people do it just normally. If they got a car still on finance and you get rid of it, they should advertise this fact in the advert. If they're hiding it, that, I'm afraid, is something to avoid. Next, so if you have found the car, done a history check, everything all checks out, everything's all nice, call the seller or the dealer, ask questions about the car, see what their response is. You want to ask questions like the service history. Oh my god, my brain's just gone. So you want to ask questions like, has it got service history? How many owners has it had? What condition is it in? Ask as many questions as possible and get the answers in your head, or write them down, because if you want to go see the car and any answers are wrong, you can pull them up on this and even save some money on it with negotiation. So you just need to ask questions. Obviously each car needs a different question. So say if you're going out to look at a Ford Fiesta 1 litre EcoBoost, has it had its factory recall for the coolant line and all this? Is the clutch noisy? That's just a 1 litre EcoBoost Fiesta. They're the common problems with them. So when you know the common problems with the car you're looking for, just ask the questions. Then you don't waste your time, do you? Right, so you've gone through all that. You want to go look at the car. I'm going to now show you what the best way of doing when you go to look at a car. If it's a dealer, a lot of dealers nowadays just give you the keys and let you be with the vehicle, which is very good. But if it's a private seller and all that stuff, the main thing you need to do when you go and look at a car really is make sure the engine's cold when you get there. Because certain engines, they have a lot of problems when the engine is on cold start. But when it warms up, the problems hide themselves. If the car, when you get there, is warm, ask them why. Or even before you get there, please ask them to make sure the engine's cold. Because there's lots of different engines that have different problems when cold. You can have smoke, you can have rattle, you can have knock, you can have all sorts of things when the engine's on its warm-up stage. I'm going to go take you to the cars and just show you the process. So, you're going to look at, let's say, a Mercedes GLA. You get the key. So, first thing you want to do is just walk around looking for damage, making sure the tyres are all good. And here's another hint. If all 4 tyres are a different make, that tells you they haven't really been maintaining it as they should. Because like the first axle should be the same tyres, and whereas like mine, it's got Goodyears on the front and Contis on the back. Make doesn't really matter. If it's got top-notch tyres on, you know they've just been willing to spend the extra $1 on it. Then you get the key, unlock it. So you walk around, checking for damage. It's all good. You get into the vehicle. Make sure everything works. So on one of these, it's push button start. So you put your foot on the brake, press it, it starts up. But what you want to do is just press the button. And again, make sure all the lights come up, engine management lights and all that, make sure they all come up. And then, foot on the brake, start. So now it's starting, make sure it ticks over nicely. Make sure everything's all working, all on, all fine. If there's a car with aircon, get it really cold. Make sure it blows really cold. Jesus Christ, it's blowing really cold already. Make sure everything works. Just go around, make sure everything works. Press the heated seats on, make sure they all work. I'm not going to do it because it's a warm day. Make sure everything in here, make sure you don't have any warnings. Look, it's 20 degrees today. Make sure you don't have any warnings. So now the car's running whilst it's cold, you want to be listening for any knocks or any noises that shouldn't be happening, basically. Again, each car's got its own thing. Go to the back end and make sure it's not doing any kind of smoke, any at all. It can have condensation. On a lot of petrols do condensation, like that does condensation when you do a cold start on it. Right, and on this, electric seats, they're all here, just make sure everything all works, make sure everything works. It all does its thing. And then put it back to my memory. Get the steering. Put these keys away. Get the steering. Do that, make sure there's not knocking. No knocking at all. Go lock to lock. Make sure there's no knocking. Make sure there's no knocking. So, all the steering is fine. Completely fine. Just go around, make sure there's no damage, anything silly. Does the sunroof work? Yeah, sunroof works. Does it open? Yeah, she opens. No whirring noises, no nothing like that. Just go around everything, just make sure everything works. Like, don't press them buttons though. It will call the police on you. Even because of free sunglasses. Another thing you want to be looking out for on all cars really is wet spots. So if the car's leaking in any way, shape or form. So these don't have any common problems with that, but a lot of it, especially like Fords and Vauxhalls and stuff like that. So one thing you want to be checking is the boot area. Yeah, just make sure that works. Got dog food in here. That's no good. But you want to be lifting up the floor, have a look at the floor, make sure it's all dry. Blah, blah, blah. Make sure that goes down properly, locks properly, latches itself like it's just done. Next thing to do, engine bay. So all cars have their own little place. This one's here. In fact, I'm going to be turning this off so you can actually hear me. All cars have their own little thing. This one's there. I'm going to need two hands. Wait there a second. So all cars have their own engines, obviously. So you just want to be looking around, make sure there's no stupid oil leaks, splashes, make sure the oil's all good, check the oil on them. Oh, this one's automatic, so that one's the automatic gear oil, and you just want to be checking around, making sure everything's all spick and span. Like them belts they are there. So that belt, you don't want a belt which is like got cracks all along it and fraying, because you know that hasn't been changed then, don't you? Wipers all good, very good. Now for the, if they're trying to dodge you out of anything. You have, in each vehicle that's sold in the UK, you have 3 VIN locations. You always have a Visi, which on this one is there. I'm pretty sure it's the same place on the Mini. On a Mercedes, which door is it here? Not this one. Walk round, walk round. So the Mini's got the same Visi. Somewhere, where is it? There. See it? That's there. Visi. So make sure that VIN matches that VIN. And also make sure the VINs match the car. So you've looked around it, everything's all good, you run a road test. Let's go for a road test. Hi mate. Now you're in the car, you're going to want to road test it, aren't you? Always try and road test it with a guy. Even if you might seem, oh yeah, I could road test this on my own. Because you want to be asking questions as you're going along. Right, just reverse out a bit here. My silly work box in the way. So as you drive along, the main thing you want to do is, if it's manual, make sure the clutch has got some nice movement to it. If yeah, it's just gone again. Yeah, make sure there's no knocks, rattles, bangs. I know I'm on this side again because all our phone holders not positioned for YouTube. So you want to make sure there's no knocks and bangs suspension. Make sure the brake's all right, and as you're going along, only slow, take your hand off the steering wheel and just press your brakes. Make sure the car stays in track, i.e. central. Make sure it doesn't pull to one side, because that could be a problem with brakes, drive shafts, or an automatic gearbox. You also want to make sure if it's got an electric handbrake as well, that comes on and off nice and freely, because a lot of cars with electric handbrakes have issues, especially Venoms and Vauxhalls. They have a lot of issues. If it's a turboed vehicle or a diesel vehicle, you want to make sure when you get it up to temperature and all that when you just put your foot down a little, not rag it, just put your foot down and make sure no smoke comes out the back. Especially diesels, because that could be an EGR problem, turbo problem, or even an injector problem. You want the engine to be nice and smooth, not make any noises, not make any screeching noises. nice. Just want it to be nice. Obviously, some cars, whatever price range you were looking at that particular car, you're going to have issues at certain price ranges. Like if you're getting it at a low price range, it's going to be cheaper. Like this one, it's automatic. Let me just sort that out. Like this car here, it's automatic, so I'm currently in comfort mode. I'm doing 40 mile an hour in 5th. If I put my foot down, it should kick down. So if I put my foot down now, kick down in 4th. Just like that. And it goes up the revs, lovely, no noises, no whistling. Because turbos can, if you got a boost leak, can whistle when they're boosting, which is what you don't want. Make sure when you get up to above 30-35 mile an hour, there's no droning noises or squealing noises like a bearing gone. And again, constantly be listening out for any knocks, creaks, anything like that. Get around the corner. And if you've got any roundabouts as well, this is a good thing when you're buying a car. If you, on your road test of the car, if there's any roundabouts nearby, just go round them. Go round the roundabout a couple of times and just listen, because that's like the best time you can actually check that proper suspension was on a road test without actually stripping the car down. Hit potholes like that, see if there's any knocks, bangs, boings, anything like that. Here's another thing to check. Obviously you've researched the car, you know what MPG they should be doing. Check the MPG as you're driving. Make sure it's current, nice, stable. Obviously different roads, different driving styles, different temperatures can give you different MPGs, but make sure it's in its own little ballpark. Because if you got an MPG which is going boom, 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 it's going to be a problem there somewhere, unless it's your heavy foot. So as you're just driving along, everything's all good. Just touch things, make sure nothing's loose. Make sure everything's all hunky-dory. Just have fun with the car. Make sure, and also whilst you're buying it, you've done all the research and all that stuff. Make sure you're comfortable driving the car. So you are in your driving position that you found in that car. Make sure as you're driving it, you are comfortable, and you know you're going to be comfortable even on long journeys. Because a lot of people buy cars because they like the car and never driven one. And then they buy the car, a week later they find out that car's making them incredibly uncomfortable. Like my father, he bought a Mondeo ST, whatever it was, back in the day. Bought it, and he found out if he was driving it for more than half an hour, it'll make his right leg go numb. Because of the ST Sport seats. And I've been a passenger in a Mark III Focus ST. I've never wanted to buy one, but if I did buy one, I would have found out that on long journeys they make my back hurt because the Recaro seats are too narrow for my fat body. So you're like, just different things like that. Just make sure this is the right car for you. Like this GLA, we were actually looking at Kia Sportages or Hyundai Tucsons things. Yes, this car's a lot smaller than one of them, we know, but it doesn't matter. We were literally somewhere just looking at a Kia Sportage, actually, a white one, a nice one, and then it's this particular dealership, you can go and ask for keys for whatever car, they leave you alone and you play with the car. So my wife just decided to say, let's have a look at Mercedes. Okay, look at the Mercedes. Fell in love with the Mercedes. Another thing to know when you're buying cars is that all cars have different weird specs of kit, equipment. So obviously at your research stage, you should be researching for what you want in a car, what level you want. Like this Mercedes is a AMG line. I wanted an AMG line because it's more sporty looking, nicer seats, got the red stitching and all that. But then when it comes to spec of the car, you can get an AMG line, proper Bogo spec. So not even got LED lights or anything like that. Got
nothing. Got a little tiny screen up here that's all plasticky. This one's a big, nice glass thing. You know, manual seats and all that kind of stuff, which is fine, but not for the price of the car. So then you can get, I think it's the executive or the classic, which has got some bits, but hardly anything. Then you got the executive, which I didn't really look at because it didn't come standard with heated seats. And then you've got the premium, which comes standard with dual zone climate control, electric operates heated seats, auto dimming side mirrors as well as middle mirror, blah 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 blah, leather, you know, the works. But then what we've gone for is the Premium Plus, which comes standard with the big screen, the decent stereo system on top of everything, sunroof on top of everything, and it's got its auto parking, it's got lane keep assist thing, it's got the radar anti-collision CAC, which I've turned off. It's got everything. There isn't a single option in this car which isn't in it. It's even got lights in the headrests, or the headrests, which can change colours. But we've just set it to red because it matches the red stitching. And it's got red roof lining. I'm a sucker for red roof lining. Black roof lining. What am I saying red? So my company, Tech Transport, I'm going to put the link, well, the email address that you can email it through in the description. If you're buying a car that you want to know if it's the right car to buy, email me the registration, the current seller's information, if it's the dealer's information, if it's a private seller, his number, email address, whatever. I will then do a full, which I have to pay for, a full background check, HPI check, everything check. I will be speaking to the dealer, asking the questions, doing the research on the car for you, do all that kind of stuff, letting you know what to look out for. I'll then email you the full report and my little section on the report saying this is to look out for, this is to look out for, or if everything's okay, I'll just tell you everything looks spectacular. The report I run, if it's been a crash damaged vehicle, I will be able to find that out, and most of the time get the pictures from its like Copart auction. So that's just something I offer, and I can even go with you depending on where you are, because obviously if you are in Somerset, I'm going to have to charge you quite a bit. Go with you to inspect the car, and with my transporting service, I can even bring the car back for you. And there will be the occasion, and has been the occasion, where the customer, you, have done everything over the phone, spoke to everything, I have done all my side, and you've bought the car without even looking at it, and I've gone to collect it and deliver it to your house, and you're happy as Larry. So that's just one of the services. But when you're buying a car, you need to be as thorough as possible. Obviously, with me being a fully qualified mechanic, certain places and certain people don't like me doing it, but I do it. I've got a full code reader scanner which I can go through, check the history of the ECU, make sure the mileage hasn't been rolled back, all that kind of stuff. And I'll even go in with a jack so I can jack it up and check anything. If I hear anything, I can check things, check the brake pads, check all that stuff. So if they say it's had new brakes and it hasn't, I'll be able to find out. Just an example. So yeah, I'll put a link of my company in, well no, the email address for my company. I think I might put a link to the Instagram, which I've just started, in the description. My company is Tech Transport. It's there. So I also have a GoFundMe as well, just for well, the description's in the GoFundMe, so if you want to look at that, that's fine. Other than that, like I say, my advice is just when you're looking to buy a car, even if it's of a dealer, don't trust any dealer. Don't trust anyone off their word. Try and do as much as you possibly can yourself to find out if you're buying a good car or not. Because, like I say, there's good and bad versions of every single car out there. You could be wanting a Hyundai i30N, which are fantastic cars, but you could be buying one which has been ragged from day one, crashed, driven how long with no oil, so the engine's all about to go boom. Anything could happen to any car. All cars have a past, just like people, and not all cars have a good past, but they can make them look good. That's one thing you'll look out for. So I hope you found this video useful, but comment, like, subscribe, do all that ting. And if you're watching this because you are buying a good car, I wish you the best. Thoroughly wish you the best. Other than that, peace.